Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're really plunging headfirst into a document that feels incredibly timely. It tackles something critical for navigating the online world right now. Digital brand empowerment, especially looking ahead to 2025.
That's right. And this source, it gives us a pretty solid look at what that term actually means. Moving beyond just the buzzwords. It also zeroes in on how one specific company, WBMS Web Developers, is presented as tackling this challenge.
Yeah, so our mission today for this deep dive is to really unpack that core concept. We want to pull out the key nuggets about what digital empowerment actually requires in, today's hyper-connected world and understand the shift the source describes, because it suggests it's way more than just, being online. It sounds like it's about strategic dominance.
Yeah, let's start right there with the definition itself. The source makes it really clear this isn't just about ticking boxes off a digital checklist. It positions digital empowerment as strategically leveraging the full spectrum of digital tools, platforms, strategies, the whole lot.
Okay, so it's about intentionally using the digital landscape to get specific results.
Exactly. The main goal is building a brand that has a real voice, a solid platform, and crucially, the kind of infrastructure that lets it scale, globally even, without being sort of held back by digital weak spots. It's about enabling the brand through digital.
Enabling the brand. Okay, like that framing. And the source points to specific things that are essential for this empowerment in 2025. What does it flag as, non-negotiable?
Well, it lays out several key pillars. First, that foundational piece.
Right.
A user-centric, high-performance website. Now, we all know websites are important, right? But the source really emphasizes that for 2025, high performance means, speed. Speed that keeps up with impatient users, and technical strength, so search engines and AI can actually understand it. And user-centric. That means designing for how real people on all sorts of devices actually browse and, convert.
So performance and usability really tailored for this demanding mobile-first world we're in.
Precisely. And then, building on that, consistent branding across all platforms. That's identified as vital. It's not just sticking the same logo everywhere. It's about a unified experience, a consistent voice, the same look and feel wherever someone bumps into the brand.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense for building trust and recognition, too, when everything feels so fragmented online. What's next on the list?
Okay, this one's crucial. The source really stresses the absolute necessity of video and motion content. For 2025, this is presented not just as a nice-to-have, but as, the main language for communication, for telling stories. You have to be able to tell your brand story visually, dynamically.
Right, yeah. We're definitely moving past text being the default for everything. Video is the new baseline for actually grabbing attention.
Absolutely. Then, an engaging social media presence is essential. But the source adds a really critical layer here. It needs to be strategically backed up by email marketing. Social media, that's great for discovery, for engagement, but email is where you build those direct relationships, drive the conversions. It's the combo that really works.
Ah, that integration point is interesting. So social sort of feeds the funnel and email helps close the loop.
Yes, exactly. Creating those strategic funnels. The source also highlights making decisions based on data, actual insights, not just guesswork, and using automation for marketing stuff. Because in the complexity of 2025, doing everything manually, it just won't scale. You won't get the personalization right either.
Right. Efficiency and data-driven strategy powered by tech.
Exactly. And finally, the bedrock needs to be solid. Making sure platforms are accessible to everyone, secure against all the threats out there, and just inherently mobile-friendly. With global reach and mobile being so dominant, these are just table stakes for any digital touchpoint. Can't skip these.
Okay, so that's what the essential ingredients, according to this source. But the document also makes a really strong case for why this kind of digital empowerment matters more than ever right now. What are the big forces shaping 2025 that it points to?
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how the source connects these needs to the huge shifts happening online. A major one is the rise of AI and automation. It's fundamentally changing how businesses interact with users, how users find info, everything. Your digital presence needs to be built for this new AI-influenced world.
It's changing search, customer service, even how we consume content.
Right. And alongside that, consumer demands are just higher. Speed, personalization, consistency, they expect it all, instantly. Yeah. And across every single touch point, whether it's your website, an app, a social profile, it has to be seamless.
Less patient, more demanding of relevance. Yeah, that tracks.
Precisely. And coupled with that is the acceleration we talked about, the huge importance of visual content over plain text. Brands have to communicate visually, quickly just to get noticed and show their value in crowded feeds.
So if you're not fluent in video and motion graphics, you're basically already playing catch-up.
The source definitely argues that, yeah.
Yeah.
And reinforcing that performance point, the sheer dominance of mobile-first interactions means seamless, optimized web and app experiences aren't just nice, they're the entry ticket. You need them just to reach a huge chunk of your audience.
Okay, so this raises a big question then. With all these powerful forces coming together, AI, demanding users, the visual shift, mobile dominance, the source is essentially arguing that building this specific multi-layered digital empowerment isn't just, a good idea. It's the only real strategy to stand out, stay relevant, and actually grow in this environment.
It's presented very much as essential for survival and growth. Without this kind of cohesive, empowered presence, a brand's voice just gets lost, drowned out in all the noise.
That frames the stakes pretty clearly. Okay, so we've got the core concept down and why it's so vital for 2025. The source then pivots to look at how one particular entity, WBMS Web Developers, apparently approaches actually building this empowerment for brands. It positions them not just as web devs, but as builders of digital ecosystems. What's that about?
Yes, that phrase digital ecosystem seems key to their presented approach. It suggests they're not just delivering separate pieces, but interconnected systems designed to work together and tailored specifically to a business's goals and, the demands of the 2025 landscape we've been discussing.
That does sound more integrated, more strategic than just offering, say, web design here and social media there. So how does the source detail the specific ways WBMS empowers brands? What are the building blocks of their ecosystem, according to this document?
Okay, so the source breaks it down into several areas. It starts with the foundation, custom website development, but like we said, not just any website. The source highlights their focus on building those responsive, fast-loading, SEO-optimized sites, specifically designed for conversion in today's world. It also mentions their platform, websitebuilder.marketshoppy.com, offering flexibility. You can build it yourself or have them do it professionally.
Got it. So providing that technical core that meets those 2025 demands, speed, performance, findability.
Right. Then, building on that, they tackle the critical mobile angle with mobile app solutions. The source talks about meeting customers where they are, naturally. But it also mentions the WBMS Web Developers app as a way for the brand itself to manage services, access tools, connect with support. So facilitating that consistent, accessible touch point for the business side too.
Okay. So mobile isn't just the customer-facing app. It's also about the brand's own tools for managing things.
Exactly. Enabling management from anywhere, essentially. Then, hitting that huge shift to visual communication, the source describes their creative design and branding services. This is where the brand's visual identity and its story get crafted or, refreshed. They apparently offer full support logos, social media graphics, all the way through to promotional videos and motion graphics.
Okay, and that feeds directly into the need for visual content and storytelling we were just talking about.
It really does. They're providing the actual assets needed to speak that visual language of 2025, which ties right into their video and promotional content specialization. The source explicitly calls 2025 video first and details their focus on crafting powerful videos, including YouTube content, all designed to give brands that essential face, voice, and following they need to cut through.
So they're really doubling down on that format because the source sees it as absolutely non-negotiable.
Seems like it, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then underpinning the whole digital identity, they handle the basics like domain booking and QR code design. The source notes this as, making sure the digital address is secure and using smart QR codes for those easy physical to digital links.
Right. Covering those fundamental but critical infrastructure bits.
Precisely. Building it all from the ground up. And finally, the source mentions their full spectrum web and app development. This sounds like it goes beyond just standard sites or apps. They offer scalable, future-ready custom applications for specific business needs. Things like e-commerce stores, portfolios, maybe even complex SaaS platforms.
Okay, so it sounds like they can build whatever unique digital tools a business needs to run its specific model online.
It's presented as building the complete digital operational structure needed for growth. It all fits within that ecosystem idea. According to the source, it's about creating that interconnected set of digital tools that work together.
Okay. So pulling it together, based on this document, WBMS aims to offer a pretty comprehensive suite of interconnected services, all designed specifically to build this strategic digital empowerment that's needed for 2025.
And the source wraps up by reinforcing that key takeaway. With the right partner, using this kind of comprehensive approach. Digital empowerment lets a brand become agile, really interactive, and truly build for scalable growth. It positions this whole approach as the way for brands to, quote, go beyond digital, meaning, like, transcend just being online to achieve real strategic power.
So it's not just having a presence, it's having a powerful integrated digital engine actually driving the brand forward?
That's the core message coming through from the source, yes.
So zooming back out there, we've seen that digital empowerment in 2025, at least as this source presents it, is way more than a simple checklist. It's a strategic, multi-layered necessity. It covers performance, visual language, integrated marketing, using data smartly, strong tech foundations, all designed to work together as a cohesive ecosystem.
And understanding these components, hopefully, is really valuable for you listening in, whether you're building a brand yourself, evaluating potential partners, or just trying to make sense of what it really takes for businesses to succeed in this rapidly changing digital future. It helps you gauge what brands genuinely need to thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's something to really chew on. In a digital world that's increasingly shaped by AI filters, by automation streamlining everything, and by visual content demanding instant attention, how does a brand make sure its authentic story, its unique human core, doesn't just get lost in the algorithm? How does it truly resonate and connect with that empowered, demanding consumer we talked about? That's maybe the next big question to ponder.